Nope, not at all. Yep. Fine. Just don't say anything dirty because we're on live.
I think printing ballots is probably a mistake. I know. You know why? I wrote them because somebody switched over. We had a conflict yesterday. All fine.
Yeah, people have gotten used to work at like, it's just more convenient, like log off and go to dinner.
And I can use it yesterday.
You're supposed to be looking at, stop looking at. I'm showing the whole thing now.
The pre-show.
Okay, let me just pause this. It's something down there, you put that, and then you press it, and then you have to, yeah, you can just expand it there, it's like a pause.
Hey, welcome to our May PA Journal meeting. We're going to be doing elections this evening for the contested elections on the next year's PA board and a couple of seats on the school leadership team or SLT. We're going to start off with just a few words from Principal Newman, and then we'll be off to the races. So we have a lot of business to cover, so we're trying to do this as fast as we can.
All right, another one, don't ramble on. All right. No, I just got a couple of a couple of little announcements and clarifications that you see emails on. One, you probably got a weird email from me about some sort of phishing email. It was actually pretty funny that I misspelled the word and then somebody came back thinking that I would never do that, so then that would be a phishing email. But that was not. So there is an email going around, and we're investigating more into it. We've actually reported it to the police, and because not that so much they're impersonating, actually some of the emails are all similar in nature. You might have seen them. They might have gone to your kids already. I think they're working their way through students and got up to the letter G maybe, so if you have a G last name, you might, or before that, they might have got to you, and it's saying something about an internship opportunity, and then when you click on something, it asks for your banking information, right? And so, a typical type of phishing, illegal activity thing. It does not come from us, and I reiterated in the email that the only emails that we use about, obviously, schools.nyc.gov, emails internally to the DOE. It's obviously very troubling, and the most troubling thing is, to be perfectly honest, that it seems like somebody has access to our BTHS email. So it's not going to the NYC schools emails, and it's not going to your emails, but it's going to the BTHS emails that we're sort of phasing out in some ways anyway, because it also did go to our alumni who's, we never turn off the email. So there's people who graduated 10 years ago who still have BTHS emails. So anyway, so there is obviously some sort of issue. The BTHS emails, if you, to get into not so much detail, are actually Gmail emails. They're actually Google emails, even though they say BTHS.edu. So they're not DOE emails. So if there's been a breach, which it looks like it has been, it's actually a Google breach. And so we're going to work with them to figure out what it is. But these are not your students' official emails. There's no other biographical information embedded in that server where the email is sitting. So simply, it will have your child's name and then their email, but that's all it has. It really doesn't have any other identifying information about your child or about you or your address or anything else. So if they have hacked it, they do have your child's name and then their BTHS email. So anyway, the email is not real, it's spoofed. Don't give your banking information. I sent that out. But we are looking into it to see how it might have possibly happened. Okay, what else? Good news. We, if you haven't read around in some of our social media and whatnot, we currently have 7 PSAL city championships. This is a pretty good year for athletics. We are in the finals right now as we speak. I'll probably have the results before this is over. On boys handball, where our boys are competing in Queens against, I forgot what school, I'm sorry. But anyway, we are ranked #1 city, and we are going against the #2 school in the city. So hopefully I'll be able to communicate later today or tonight that we've already won. What?
I think volleyball's happening tonight too.
Volleyball's tonight too? Oh, I thought that was tomorrow. Okay. And so...
It was in the announcements today.
Okay. So, at the very least, we have 7. We could have 9 by tomorrow. And there's one more that we could possibly get. Anyway, other schools that have more than 1 in the city, 0. Okay. We're well on our way into being ranked, since they started doing it, the #1 athletic program in the state by Max Preps will probably be 5 years in a row. Oh, by the way, in stunts that we won last week, stunts has only been around for 7 years. We've won the city championship 6 of us 7. That's pretty amazing. Okay, what else do I want to say? MAPS, you might have got a weird email from me. I don't know, when did I say that? Yesterday maybe, that we're having MAPS tomorrow. It's true, that's not a phishing email. And so there are MAPS for 10th graders, alphabetically, last name A through K is on tomorrow after school. Maximum 3 hours. you've already been through this map situation. It's kind of cool because then you can compare the results from like the beginning of the year to the mid-year to the end of the year to see how they're doing. So it is impactful, and I will be sending out those reports. I will be backpacking them, so your kids will bring back the reports. 9th grade is going to be done on June 1st, so I'm going to send that email probably first thing in the morning. June 1st is a Regents Day, okay? No students are coming in on June 1st except all juniors who are taking U.S. History Regents and all freshmen who are taking the MAPS assessment. We will put half the freshmen in the morning, half the freshmen in the afternoon. I will send you out tomorrow a schedule of who is going. It's basically going to be like, I don't know what's the middle of the alphabet, like M, it's going to be like A through M in the morning and on through in the afternoon. And that's it. It's a maximum of 3 hours. Usually it doesn't take our students nearly that long. What else? Okay, so that's the first. And so MAPS also, for the other half of the already been emailed, the 10th grade is on Tuesday, also after school. And then there is a June 7th. Any kids, 10th grade or 9th grade who missed it can take it after school on June 7th. All right. Any questions about any of that stuff? All right. I know that was a lot. I was a little all over the place. I have nothing else I think I need to tell you, but I'm sure there's a million things I need to tell you. Any questions or anything? Questions? Questions? All right. Easy crap. All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you, fearless leader. I guess we'll just, before we hop into our elections process here, I do want to mention that at our June meeting, June 15th, our final meeting of the year, we will be voting on the budget for 2023 through 24. And we've got some really good initiatives. We've done a lot of brainstorming to send next year's PA into their groove. Our treasurer's done extraordinary work. And so that just thought to be kind of front and center on the agenda. So, without further ado, we're going to start our PA elections piece of this while we are counting ballots. After the candidates in contested races speak, and while we're counting ballots, we'll be hearing from our drug enforcement PA. Is that right? Something like that. Is she here? All right.
Yeah, she does, it's preventative.
Preventative,
not
thank you.
enforcement.
I know.
So, yeah. So, she
Yes.
does substance abuse counseling.
Right, thank you.
She is not, I'm just looking around, I think she would have stepped up. But
Okay.
she's here, but she's just not here yet.
Okay, that sounds good. We've got a road to go before we hear from her anyway. So I will now turn this over to the wonderful Marzina Geller, who has been working with us on elections for several years now. We've only met remotely, so it's great to have her back here in person because she does this so beautifully. So over to you, Marzina.
So no pressure. So it's so nice. Yeah.
Okay, so on your tables, you'll find that there are forms that describe people's bios of who is running. We had a slight hiccup yesterday, and one of the positions that was uncontested is now contested. So if you are looking for the Vice President for Diversity and Inclusion, that is a contested race, and their bio, the bios are on the uncontested form. They're all here, so they'll present, so you'll get to hear what they have to say. But I just don't want you all to think, oh my gosh, it was just, it happened at the 11th hour, and I didn't want to have to reprint another tree's worth of paper. Okay? So all the bios are available. I'm sorry. What is that?
Who's running against the team of people for diversity?
Our person will go right through it.
Yeah.
It's all gonna happen.
I'll be able to probably get you through that. So just to answer your question for the Vice President of Diversity, Community Engagement, it was Kim and Sharon that are running as a ticket, and the other person was Angie Cabot. So she's also running for SLT. So in a moment, we'll get Angie to come up when it's the time for that position and she can present. So again, so nice to see you all in person over there as well. I wish I was taller. I could see you all. But yeah, so just as a reminder, only parents and legal guardians are allowed to vote at this meeting. So the candidate information has been emailed to everyone, so that was, and it's also on the pieces of paper on your tables if you wish to have a look at them. So the candidates running for contested positions will have the opportunity to address the meeting. So nominations from the floor are not mandated, and so they're not going to be taken at this meeting. And you would have all received the ballots, and there's two ballots. One's for the Executive Board for the Parent Association, and the other ballot is for the SLT. So we're going to do them separately. So right now we're going to do the PA Executive Board. So this is important to ensure that your vote is counted. Could you please make sure that you clearly mark the checkbox, whether it's a tick or an X, but if it's so it's clear, and that way your vote can be counted. And as a reminder, if you need to have a look at the bylaws of the Parent Association, they can be found online in the PA Tech website, and also the New York City Department of Education regulation of the Chancellor regarding parent associations can also be found on the schools.nyc.gov website, so if anyone's interested in having a look at those. So we now turn to the election of the Parent Association Board Executives. The first position is for President. You'll see that it's an uncontested position, and Mia and Tiffany are both running as one ticket for that. And because there are no further nominees, the position is uncontested, and therefore I want to congratulate Mia and Tiffany for the next position is for Recording Secretary, so this is a contested position. So we have Vito and Chris, and they're running as a ticket, and we have Mohammed, and the nominees and these are the nominees for this position. So because it is contested, we're going to provide each candidate the opportunity to come and speak to their nomination. So Vito, Chris, and Mohammed, can I please invite you up to the front to address the meeting?
Thank you so much. So Chris and I have been doing this. This is our second year as a team. The role of recording secretary is not really what we do. We do a lot more than that. So I'm live streaming on our YouTube channel. What I do is Chris and I, we kind of break up the duties. He's really great at the minutes, and he does all of the writing stuff. And what I try to do is all the audio visual stuff. So we're live streaming on YouTube. I set that up. I also do all of the Zoom meetings that we need to do, which is over the summer we're going to have like 10 or 15 Zooms, and I'll have to set that up and make sure that we host it correctly and that someone's there to start the meeting and pass it off to whoever. So, and besides that, you know, what I tell my kids is like we have to do work around the house, and they ask me, well, what do we have to do? And I always say, well, whatever has to get done, right? And when you're on the PA Executive Committee, it's like whatever has to get done. And we work as a team. We've been working as a team with everybody. For example, the gala, we needed to get stuff to the gala. We needed to work the door. And Chris and I both, we just pitch in whenever we can, and would like the honor to be able to continue to do that for the next school year. Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you, Vito. Thank you very much. I thought that we did this for the past 2 years already. Yeah, I think so. Because I look at the list of the minutes, and it's more than 12. That's for sure. So Vito did all the complicated work, and I take the easier route. So hopefully we'll get your votes for tonight, and we can serve the PA board for another year. Thank you. Thank you.
Mohammed, I don't think Mohammed's here yet. He didn't provide a bio for us, so unfortunately I can't share anything with you at this stage. But I guess we do need to vote. So when you do vote, please just do it clearly and check the box next to the candidate or candidates that you would like to elect for this position. And are there any more ballots?
No one has that.
No one has a ballot yet. They come at the end.
Slight hiccup.
We haven't given them out yet.
Where are my assistants?
This is a little bit different than online. We'll know for next time.
Yeah, this maybe there's another. Lisa may have the other. Because I got two. You have a different page, right? There's more than one page?
No, there's just one page.
There's only 3 contested. I think you were, that's why. The rest of them are contested.
So you see on your ballot, there's not that many names, and that's because there's not that many positions that are contested. So I think there's only 3 positions there that are. So that's why we've got to vote for it. Did anyone make a ballot? So just as a reminder, before voting, the ballots are there so that you can identify individuals speaking to the positions that we're talking about. But in terms of voting, if you could please wait while we go through each position. Alright, I think we're ready to continue. So,
What? Do I get a thing? Yeah. Do I get a Oh, here we go. Thank you.
right, so the next position is for the seat of treasurer. This is an uncontested position. So Kenneth is the sole nominee. And so with no further ado, I'd like to congratulate Kenneth on his appointment as treasurer. The role of assistant treasurer, so Lee as well, is the sole nominee for this position. And with no further nominees, again, I'd like to congratulate Lee as the assistant treasurer. So the role of corresponding secretary, Rachel and Ina, they are running running as a ticket for this position. And as there are no further nominees, congratulations, Rachel and Ina.
Rachel's not here.
Next position is the Vice Presidents of Fundraising. So we have Leslie Ann and Ting, and they are running as one ticket. And there are no further nominees. So congratulations, Leslie Ann and Ting. Another position that is uncontested, Vice President of Communications. And Hua and Ji Ying, hopefully I got that correct, are running as one ticket for the position of Co-Vice Presidents of Fundraising. And again, no further nominees, so congratulations on your appointment.
That was communication.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, Vice President of Communications, yes.
Because he's supposed to do more work.
Break from the chair over there.
So the next position is Vice President of Events and Volunteers, and this is a contested position, so we will invite people to come up and speak. So we have Sarah and Annie, and they're running as one ticket, and the other nominee is Gitu. And so I would like to invite the three of you to please come up and address the meeting and introduce yourselves.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Ritu. I'm a software developer by profession, but I have served as a PA at the primary and the middle school. Being said that, I have organized various events here, and some of the highlights are multicultural night, fundraising event, Halloween event, Candy Ground fundraiser, book sale, and also I have served as an SLT for the primary and the middle school. I have helped in the election of the principal of the primary school. Besides all that volunteer work, I am work at Chase. I have been a software developer and I have been exposed to the high school students. I have mentored them, taught them. I have worked as a judge for Code for Fun. I have been a person for the hackathon. I have worked with the Pencil organization, so I have given them career coaching over there basically. And also, besides all those highlights, I am at Chase, I'm in the women's organization, Take It Forward. I'm a leadership role over there, and I have organized various career talks for them, and I have done various certifications like AWS certifications for the Chase employees. So that's all, and hope you select me. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Xiu Bing Wang, and you also can call me Annie. This is my second time run for weekly events and volunteer with the Charlotte Group. And first of all, I want to say thank you for all parents support us in the past years. And I hope we can continue to service you in the new school year. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. So just a reminder to ensure that your vote is counted, please clearly mark the box for the contestant that you would like to vote for. So I have just been informed Vice President Diversity and Community Engagement. So originally it was a contested position, but now has become uncontested. So Angie has actually informed us that she will no longer be running for this position. So, Kim and Sharon. So, congratulations, Kim and Sharon, and no need for to vote this item. The next position is Senior Class Vice President. This is uncontested. Shani and Maria are running as one ticket for this position. So congratulations to you both. The Junior Class Vice President, again an uncontested position. Felix is the sole nominee, and so Felix is now appointed. Congratulations. The next position is Sophomore Class Vice President. This is a contested position. Lucy, May, Chris and Lorraine are the nominees for this position. And as it is contested, I'd like to invite you all up to come and address the meeting.
Good evening, parents. Yeah, you know I'm here to run for the sophomore rep. I'm currently the freshman representative. If you should have recognized my name with the posting on Facebook, WhatsApp, or WeChat, or any of the gala events already. So if you have not recognized my name, probably I'm not doing my job well enough to present myself. However, if you attended the Lunar New Year and you did not recognize me, I don't blame you for it. Because that night, I got a new face look with amazing makeup that night. Even my son didn't recognize me that night. So he got to the restaurant, he stood in front of me, waiting for me to greet him first. He said, well, I don't want to be embarrassed myself by greeting someone else, Mom. So yeah, this is for all other events. This is the true me, how I look. Anyway, so for a coming year with the experience I have as a freshman grad, I hopefully will be able to do a better job if I get voted. So honestly, I don't know why I'm here tonight. I'm supposed to be home celebrating my boy's birthday and our anniversary. But honestly, vote for me if you think I did a great job this year, or don't vote for my guilt trip. I really did.
Are Lucy or Chris here? I'm going to read Mei Chan's statement aloud. She's attending to a family emergency right now, so she asked me to do this. Hi, my name is Mei Chan. I am currently a freshman representative, and I led the sales team in the Lunar New Year celebration. I also help parents of kids with special needs and emotional issues. I realize that not only is education important for our kids, but their mental health and emotions are important too. Without a healthy mind, our kids can't perform well in their education path. My daughter has had this problem since she was in middle school and had to see a psychiatrist. She's a senior in high school now, who during the fall semester had to prepare her college application, manage school clubs, do her homework, and prepare for tests at the same time. These tasks combined overwhelmed her, and she was diagnosed with anxiety and depression by her doctor. It's dangerous because it can make people think about ending their life. I hope I can have the opportunity to continue to serve in the PA and continue to help parents help their kids work through their difficult times together in the coming school year. Thanks. That's me, Kim. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read the rest of them since I think. Now I'm Lucy Antoine. I am a mom, advocate, and leader. My son Dylan had struggled as a baby and received services to help him strive. My son went from a nonverbal child to valedictorian. He worked hard. When my son entered middle school, he had a goal to attend Brooklyn Tech. As a young black man with a special need, he worked hard to beat the odds and attend Brooklyn Tech. I'm so happy he's there. I want to do anything to help the school community that is helping my son thrive. And Chris Walker, who I think might be traveling this evening. Our family is committed to participating in communities we belong to in order to help make them better. I was a freshman representative to the BTHSPA and hope to continue to contribute to this outstanding community. I am currently a member of our condo board. My wife is on the board of our younger daughter's middle school, as well as a separate charter school in Brooklyn. I am from Canada and spent 13 years in French immersion schooling. My wife and I greatly value education, language learning, and diverse experiences. We have many connections within the education, test preparation, education technology, and broader community, and hope to bring this to the Brooklyn Tech community as well.
So again, just a reminder to ensure your vote is counted. Please clearly mark on the checkbox or next to it which candidate you would elect for this position. And I just want to remind you that you can mark up to 2 people, and if you mark more than 2 people, your ballot will be invalidated. So please make sure that for that one, you make only 2 selections. So if you could please review your ballots, and then people are walking around to collect them. And we will then conduct the tabulation and pronounce the winners of the contested positions later on.
You just had
So while we collect the ballots and tabulate the results, I'd like to welcome Miss Ramona from the Substance Abuse Prevention.
Is that a pile of ballots there?
Yeah. Those are all, we just,
You just bring them?
Exactly. The ballots don't. You joke about that.
It's like making a envelopes in the
It's like making them. Yeah, right, exactly. I should not be making these jokes.
Wait, so did you meet everybody in person in real life?
No, it's not.
Everybody, welcome to Eastman. And if you have questions, we have a mic. Maybe your questions, pass it around.
So, good evening, everybody. Stuff is packed. So I'm starting that all over again. So good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Ramona Richardson. Everybody here calls me Miss Ramona. I am the Spark counselor, but my official title is the SAPIS counselor, which stands for Substance Abuse Prevention Intervention Specialist. Yeah, wow. So my job is to, well, this is how I tell it to the kids. Everyone who comes to see me is not using alcohol or drugs. And in fact, the majority of the kids that you see around me are not. That is because prevention, which is a big part of my job, looks like me going into classrooms and talking to kids about alcohol and drugs and other things. Prevention looks like me doing school-wide events around alcohol and drugs and other things. Prevention looks like me running groups for kids to help them with social skills and with relationships, and anything that might get a kid to start using alcohol and drugs, because, you know, they think that that might be some way to help them cope with what's going on. So part of my job is also to give them the skills that are needed in order to get through these 4 years that someone lied to them and told them was the best 4 years of their life. I don't know who did that, they need to stop. Prevention also looks like there is a school of thought that says that if kids are doing things that they enjoy doing, then they are less likely to start using alcohol and drugs in order to find something to do. So, I am the advisor for 6 clubs here at Brooklyn Tech. I'm the advisor for the Lady Dragon Step Team. I'm the advisor for the Crochet Club. I am the advisor for our Gay Straight Alliance here at Brooklyn Tech, the GSA. I'm the advisor for breakdance. I'm the advisor for Danceroid. And I am the advisor for Tech Unique Urban. Yeah, I don't teach them anything though, y'all. I just advise. The intervention portion of my job is if a kid is using, then I am someone who they can come to in order to decrease their use, to stop their use, to find out why they are using, or if there are other things that are going on in a kid's life, then I am one of the people they can go to and talk to about what's going on in their lives. So, my office is on the 7th floor in room 7C7, and it is quite often filled to the brim with kids. All right? It is just, when you think about a guidance counselor, like movie guidance counselors, where kids are sitting on beanbags and on couches and they're talking about their feelings and all of that, that's my actual office. All right? I have been here for 20 years and have been doing the job for 25 years. So I actually see someone who used to be one of those kids who sat on my couch. So yeah, I was going to introduce myself, and you might have any questions for me. That is my job in a nutshell. Yeah? No? Wow, y'all are easy. Oh, wait, I got a question. All right, go ahead.
How relevant is the e-cig usage these days?
How relevant is it?
How
How
high?
prevalent? Well, I don't have numbers, but let the kids tell it to you. There's a lot of kids who are using e-cigarettes. If there's use, there's not, I mean, we really think about there's 6,000 kids, so not 6,000 kids are using, but there's still use.
So even though they set up something with Juul, that's not stopping it. Even though the government had a settlement with Juul, that's not stopping it.
No, there's always a new thing to take over whatever the last thing was. And if you still go into some places, you'll still see Juul being sold. So, and kids can get it from the internet. You don't even have to go into a store. You can buy it online. Yes?
Do you have any role in advisory for the freshman or sophomore?
Actually, I was wearing my advisory outfit today. I went into an advisory today in order to talk about edible marijuana with one of the 9th grade classes. So I've gone into a few of the advisories, talk about e-cigarettes and smoking and edible marijuana and cannabis use. I also go into the health classes. There are quite a few health teachers who invite me in during their drug portion of their curriculum, and I go and I teach the lessons on drugs and alcohol. So
is it just the individual advisor teacher who asked you in, or do you
Yes.
do them all?
yes.
So I think sometimes parents aren't sure whether to raise the question to their child, because you don't want to be saying that you're accusing them of anything, but at the same time you want to make them aware that you understand that it's out there, to have that conversation. So how would you recommend to have those conversations with your kids without sort of giving that you say that it's okay if they try it, but, you know, it's like a hard one.
I'm gonna tell you what I find from my conversations with the kids. If you guys don't talk to them about it, then they think you think it's okay. Not saying anything is basically being like, yeah, it's all right? So, even sometimes I feel like we try to go around what we want to say instead of being like, all right, I don't want you to think that I'm being weird or whatever when I'm talking to you about this, but I feel like we should talk about alcohol, drugs. Like just having an open conversation with your kid, knowing full well that your kid will probably roll their eyes at you and suck their teeth and be like, I'm not doing that. But having that conversation with them at all is going to be one of the first deterrents that they have. Because if you're not talking to them, whatever it is that their friends are doing, that's what they're going to emulate. They don't think it's peer pressure, okay? They just are like, well, that's what my friends are doing, so, you know, why not? They don't look at it as peer pressure at all. So if you're not having that conversation with them, then they are going to be more or less like, well, that's kind of consent. Yes?
What are some practical things or tools we can give our kids for stress relief to try to get them to deal with this, you know, the craziness of
telling them that it's okay to be a kid, that grades aren't the only thing that's important to them, to you, for them. I mean, grades are important, yes, but it's not the only thing that's important. And sometimes you just gotta back up and give them a little bit of space and say, hey, I know it's hard. Because they don't think that you think that it's hard. They think that you think that this is like any other school in New York City. And it's not. It's hard up in here. Yes?
I have a suggestion to make. So you know what, back in India, I did a survey on like cigarette smoking of the like various colleges going kids basically. So what I found out is like the people who are lonely or like their parents are separated or have a single parents or you know like they suffer in some way, they are the ones like who get attracted to all these, you know, cigarette or maybe alcohol or do something like that, right? So I was thinking like if we can bring up something like an emotional support for these kids, maybe, you know, like help them, you know, to come out, just, you know, have a night or a talk like about what they feel, right? How, or maybe just, you know, have a conversation about themselves, that they are not alone in this world, like who has similar feelings. So maybe, you know, it will help them in some way. Yeah.
That's very true. One of the things that most people don't really think about is that if you are a smoker, then you hang out with the smokers. So you have a built-in community. So here it is, a kid who may not have a community. If they become a smoker, they now have a community of people, right? So finding things, other things for your kids to do, other things for your kids to have community in is also really very helpful, which is why I'm the advisor for the Crochet Club. Yes.
I was wondering what you thought about how this all affects the pandemic generation.
Say that again.
How the pandemic generation was affected in your eyes, like was it increased drug use or just more issues?
Increased drug use, more issues.
Yeah.
Those kids are alone. They were alone for a long time, you know? And a lot of them did not know how to handle things, and they learned where y'all hid everything. They know where all of it was. And so, yeah, they need a lot of loving care. They need a lot of help. They need a lot of people patting them on the back and telling them it's okay, that they can get through it, because a lot of them have a lot of issues and problems, not being able to talk to other people, not knowing what they want out of their lives, not knowing how to move on. So, I talk to kids a lot, y'all.
Okay, so you have a scholar that comes in with, they need help. They come in and tell you, okay, they need help. They recognize that they need help. What
Across the Lakes Crossing, at what point does the parent find out? I'm assuming.
None. From me, none.
Okay, so there's no sort of segue or kind of.
I can talk to a kid to convince them to tell their parents something, but for my program, the confidentiality is a very big part of it. If kids find out that I'm like, for lack of a better word, narking on them to their parents, I'm not gonna have a program.
No, I figured you would not.
Yeah.
There's some way for parents to at least at some point find out, I guess.
Talk to the kids and try and convince them, especially if I feel like that's something that's really gonna help them out in the long run. But I can only convince or make them think it's their own idea to talk to their parents about what's going on. I see a hand over there.
Hi. I have an income, well, hi everybody. My son's not here yet, but he was overwhelmed. He was a pandemic kid. He found ways to find an opportunity to meditate, not like, religious or whatever, but like he found a couple friends in middle school where they kind of get together, center themselves during the day. Are you looking to do something like that for any incoming freshmen that were hit with being alone the whole time? Because 6th and 7th grade was a disaster with them going back to school. They were like, they all sat there looking at each other and didn't want to talk kind of thing. Hoping for like in the fall that there's something where kids have 10 minutes or something where they can meditate.
For such a large school, there are a lot of resources that are out there. There are, I know Ms. Ford is one of the people who actually leads meditations here at the school for the students and for the teachers. So there are a lot of things that your child can get into, especially meditation is one of their go-tos.
I think it's a good outlet for them, just so
I do too.
that they don't have to figure out other ways where it could be temporary.
I do too.
I have one question.
Yeah?
How do you segue your child from, I have an 11th grader, so in 1 year she'll be off, and I'm from Australia, and there's no such thing as going off to college at 18, and so it scares me that right now I can talk with her, but once she hits 18 and she's out that door in college, how do you parent through that in this topic?
I don't have any kids. There's no kids in here, right? Because if I said that, I would get in trouble so hard.
It's one.
I think that the thing is still the idea of keeping those lines of communication open with your kids. Like, there's gonna be a time, you are all kids. You know there comes a time in your life when you're finally like, oh, my parents were right, Dad. Right? And if you keep on talking to them, even now when they don't really want to hear you, but you have to hear them too. You can't just talk at them, you have to hear them too. When they're 18 and 19 and they need someone to turn to, they'll still turn to you. When they start going, Dad, my parents were right. So, how are we doing? Yeah? I'm getting ready for nationals with the Lady Dragon step team, so.
Where's nationals?
In Newark, New Jersey, Newark Symphony Hall. They're going up against 14 other girls step teams from across the United States. Wow. That's why I'm involved.
Any more questions for Ms. Richardson?
No, Miss Ramona.
Ms. Ramona? Or just, yeah.
Or Ramona. Actually, yes, or Ramona.
Going once. Oh, one down there.
Ms. Ramona, I kind of emailed you back and forth about the New Year, and I just have a comment that I think I myself is a cancer survivor, so I had lots of experiences in terms of medications, and now I also work as a medical doctors with patients using my mentoring skills. And I think that one of the things that I think from my experience, how I got through, I was, when my child was 2, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And so I kind of had a huge battle about that. And so how I got through that was, I think, during the whole, I had lots of surgeries and lots of treatment. And during the process, of course, you were asked to take morphines, you would take painkillers. I think the way that got me through, that I was not killed by the the medication itself, was I see my parents, they are 80 years old, they always reject drugs. They always say, I would take less, and then the doctor says, give me a bottle. I probably take 2 as needed. And so I think I learned from that. And so I survived. And I tell my kid, and she's an athlete, and she's on the athlete team, and sometimes she's, will be using some off-counter, sort of to say, oh, I'm painful, mom. And I tell her, I said, as a woman, you need to handle the pain, because you will be delivering a child. That's good. Handle that pain, and the child will not be delivered. And I said, you're not guaranteed the time that you want to deliver a child when they are in the States where there are drugs. You could be, you don't know which country you will be at. And another thing is, we come from China, and so we had the Opium War, and so where there was a period of time that maybe 50% people were drugged by the opium and walking along the street, and the people from Africa so we had the hard experience, and so sometimes it's good to be tough on drugs, and to say that you want to take as little medications as possible, and don't label your kids, and your kids could be overactive, underactive. That's only a stage. That's natural. They'll get through it, and do not be over-counting on these psychiatric services and all these medications, and try to use alternative therapy. I do Tai Chi, I do meditations, and I'm very healthy now. And so that's my experience I can share.
What that also says to me is that you are doing exactly what I said about talking to your kids. Because if you don't talk to your kids, they're going to get the idea, they're going to get their messages from elsewhere. And you'll be like, that's not what I told you. And they'll be like, you never told me nothing. So. All right, well, thank you guys for letting me talk to you.
Thank you.
My office is located in room 7C7. It's not the step room like the kids like to say, or whatever else the kids like to say. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ramona. Do you take appointments with parents as well?
They don't believe me when they don't believe it.
So thank you everyone for voting. We now have the results of the election. For recording secretary, I would like to congratulate Vito and Chris. For the position of Vice President of Events and Volunteers, I'd like to congratulate Sarah and Aggie. For the position of Sophomore Vice Presidents, I would like to congratulate May and Lorraine. So thank you for everyone participating and being involved in this. And I think we repeat this every time we have this meeting, is if you are interested in helping the community, the school, the executive board, the SLT, please come and introduce yourselves and speak with us because we need all the help that we can get, like with every school. More hands, the better. All right, so now it's time for the school leadership team election. So if I could ask for the ballots to be distributed.
Yeah, that's true. No,
So you'll see for the SLT, there are 2 positions available only. And we have a few people that are nominated for this position. We have Gitu, Manisha, Virginia, Angie, Jason, and Kristen. So if I could please invite you all to come up and speak and introduce yourselves to me.
Hi everyone, I think we'll just get started now. So, hi, good evening. My name is Angie Comet, and I'm excited to at least present myself for the SLT. So, a little bit about myself. I've been in the education business, let's say, for 22 plus years. I really love it. I've done it in the South Bronx, running a nonprofit. I've done it in the Bloomberg administration for 7 years, working in city government. I've done it at the City University of New York, CUNY, and now I'm the Dean of the School of Professional Studies at NYU. And the reason why I say that is great education, great teachers are transformative. And really, when we were kind of picking a school for Soraya, my daughter, she's a freshman, experiential learning, thinking about careers, thinking about post-secondary options, having excellence as the bar is really, really important. And so what I'd say is, again, everyone in this room, all the other 5 candidates, we all care about our kids, we all care about great education, we all have high expectations, so that's not different. But what I would say, I would present about myself, that's maybe just different in terms of difference in perspective or differences in experience. Is that I'm really passionate about a couple of things. Post-secondary options are really, really important. I see all of our kids about 2 months after they graduate as freshmen at NYU, and the issues are all the same. And we end up doing a lot around wellness, we end up doing a lot around belonging, we end up doing a lot around diversity, we end up doing a lot around career exploration, we do a lot around design thinking, and I think I have a lot of experience to really bring to the school, because when I see our kids who graduate 2 months, every August after they leave awesome schools like Brooklyn Tech, they need a lot of help and support and love and guidance. And so again, I look forward to bringing that perspective to the SLT. The other thing I would say is I'm really active in higher ed. So again, not only being at the senior leadership level at NYU, I'm really active in my alma mater at Cornell and at Harvard. I still do a lot within CUNY, and there's a lot of changes coming down the pipe. It's a Supreme Court changes to admissions, and I really think it's super important that we know about that. So I look forward to being able to bring that perspective, because I think where we think about our college options for kids is really, really important, and there's a lot of changes that are coming. So thank you.
Good evening all, it's me. I know I have introduced myself, but let me reiterate. I have been a PA for the primary and the middle school, and I have served as SLT, and I'm pretty active as part of the high schoolers. I have mentored them, taught them. It's like throughout my career, I have got an opportunity to work with them and guide them along. And I want to now take an opportunity to serve as an SLT for the high school. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, my name is Manisha. I have a son who's a freshman at Brooklyn Tech this year.
as with any child, I think, who's entering a really large school, there was like a little bit of trepidation initially. Particularly, I remember having conversations around finding his tribe at lunch. That was like something that we talked about. But he has settled, found his place, and is really happy here. And I feel like it's my time to find my peers at the school as well. So I'm really excited to present myself as a contender for the SLT. You know, being a member of the largest public high school in America, I think allows wonderful exposure to such a diverse community. And I'm hoping to represent this community in the SLT. I have a lot of volunteer experience. Primarily, and I guess most relevant, is that I have served on the SLT of my kids' elementary school for 4 years. And while I was there, you know, I helped develop that comprehensive education plan every year, which feels like the main goal of the SLT. I went through the process of appointing a new principal at that school while I was there. And one of the things that I also helped to spearhead at the school was establishing gender-neutral bathrooms that have never existed before. I've also chaired Project Cicero, which is a citywide book drive for 4 years, and you know that requires a lot of collaboration amongst a lot of different groups. You know, the administration of the school, the parents, the volunteers, even the support staff that are employed at the school. And I feel like I have always gravitated towards these positions where I can manage and help people collaborate with each other. I'm also the president of my buildings board, and I've done that for almost 4 years now as well. And there I oversee building projects. I liaise between the residents and the management company. I help to appease neighbors who maybe have issues. You know, things like that come up all the time. And then you know, that's my volunteer experience. As far as what I do, I'm a real estate agent. And my whole job description is to help different parties collaborate with each other and come to a deal, right? So I do that every day, all the time, whether it is, you know, brokering the actual financial deal between the parties, coming up with solutions and proposals that both sides can walk away happy and satisfied with, and respecting everyone's opinions and concerns while I'm problem solving for them. So I think that this skill set makes me an ideal candidate for SLT, and I would be so eager to serve this community in this way. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristen Mitchell, and I'm also running for SLT spot. I think there's two main things that make me a good fit for the SLT. First, my day job. I've been working for the city for over 20 years, and I'm Associate Commissioner at the Department of Social Services. A lot of my work day to day is collaborative. Working with other city agencies, working with the Department of Ed, Department of Social Services, and I have a focus on homelessness, and I've done a lot of work with the DOE on students in temporary housing and thinking about what supports they need. So I've learned a lot about what works at the DOE, what hasn't been working at the DOE, how to support kids who have dealt with so many issues in their lives, family disruption, housing disruption. But I feel like what I've learned also can be attributable and workable for all of our kids, right? And so, as we think about lifting up our children, we also have to think about not just the kids at Brooklyn Tech, but setting a standard for the city more broadly. The other thing I think that makes me a good fit for the SLT is I also I'm the chair of the New York City Continuum of Care. And in that role, I work with folks from nonprofits, city government, advocates, and most importantly, persons with experience of homelessness. And we all sit as a steering committee and work towards solving sort of the problems of addressing homelessness. And I think what I've found really valuable is having people at the table with diverse experiences. And I think what SLT does is it brings teachers, it brings parents, it brings administration, and it brings students into that conversation. And I think those perspectives are really important. I've tried in my work to be family-centered and child-centered in the policies I've been delivering. And I think here for Brooklyn Tech, being more student-centered is something that we can always strive for. So that's kind of been the golden rule I've been working towards in my day job, working for the city, and working for the continuum of care. And I think it's time for me to hopefully join the SLT. My daughter's a junior, or sophomore, she'll be a junior, so taking this role on and bringing that skill set to Tech would be amazing for me. And so yeah, consider me for your vote. Thank you.
Jason. I don't know if I could top everybody else that went before me. My daughter is a freshman. She's going to be a sophomore next year, hopefully. I'm currently the vice president and I'm on SLT at my younger daughter's school, elementary school. I don't know what else pretty much to tell you guys. I'm a good listener and I like to help, so I'm just trying my best to see I get a vote. Thank you very much.
So I'm going to read Virginia's bio out to you all. And she writes this: as a mother of two students at Brooklyn Tech, class of 2023, bioscience, and class of 2024, aerospace, I have experience with the school from before COVID. During COVID and after COVID, I am a licensed professional engineer with the state of New York and a graduate of the oldest engineering schools in Greece, with an MS in civil engineering and a master's in public administration from CUNY John Jay. I have more than 20 years of experience working as an engineer, and currently I work as a civil engineer design lead. I am familiar with the engineering curriculum requirements and the current job market needs. My personal experience with the school and my professional experience as an engineer will be helpful in assisting the school with any consent on helping our students get the best education in New York City. So now that we've heard from all the nominees, I'd like you please to mark your vote clearly, and just a reminder that you can only vote for up to 2 people. So if you do vote for more than 2 people, your ballot will not be valid and it will not be voted.
I'm passing the hat.
Are there any
Does she just get a
Why did you 17? He's now also going to make a video for you from our screen.
You want us to bring down?
The lights.
Leslie, why don't you introduce it? 1 second. Leslie.
Okay, this is good. Thank you.
you all, you wonderful people who organized the gala, particularly Leslie and Tiffany. Thank you.
This is my morning dress. It's so embarrassing. I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, good.
While we wait for the
My target
yes. Yes.
I mean,
While we have some time, I did want to talk about the Safer Watch app and the Safer Watch program. And you probably heard a little bit about it, but just talk a little bit more about it. So we were invited and surely very glad to accept to be a pilot school. There are, I think, 5, maybe 6 pilot schools in all of New York City using Safer Watch. It's something that is, even though we're in the pilot, it's very active. And actually, we employed it during the last fire drill we just had this week at some point. Maybe it was Tuesday. And then also the week before. So this is what it is, right? So I have this app on my phone called Safer Watch. And so I'll tell you a little weird logistical things. I can't call 911 from any phone in the building. So for some reason, it just, you can't do that on DOE phones, right? So you always have to use a cell phone, which is interesting, right? And so as you might see, this isn't the reason we got Safer Watch, but scaffolding, all sorts of things going on leads to bad connectivity with your phone. But here's the thing, so I got the Safer Watch, I got it up right now. So you see this little red button right now? So if I hit this red button, like a SWAT team descend down the school, and I'm actually not kidding on that. So I hit the button, and then after I hit the button, I can say there's a medical emergency. I can click buttons as to what it is, and then an ambulance comes. And so I don't have to call 911, but I am calling 911 straight through the app, right? And then if it is another type of emergency, a police type of emergency or anything else, I can put it in very quickly. The cool thing also is that let's say a police officer is coming through the app, I'm actually conversing with the police officer, the actual police officer en route. Also the ambulance en route. I don't have to spend time talking to, a 911 operator, explaining the situation, whatnot. It's literally a couple of clicks and they're coming and they'll figure out everything else later. It's linked to my phone so that literally if I'm like in an emergency, hiding somewhere or something, they know where I am. Like it knows, it's very precise, it knows exactly where I am. And so if I was home at my own home, it would work. So it's just linked to me being the principal of the school, not being, David Newman, human being. And so I've actually expanded that scope to the neighborhood around, and then there's another area where it can be activated at the football field. But from my phone, right? So I have to be there. Now there's other people, it's not just me, but there's about 16 other people that are trained and have this app on their phone, members of the community, BRT members, building response team members. No one has given authorization to press that button as yet, it's just me. But we used it, we tested it now twice, and we saw response time, although they knew it was a test, right? So it alerts other things. I found out that, for example, the Apple Store uses Safer Watch. So I got an alert a couple of weeks ago that there was some activity going on at the Apple Store that was put on the Apple Store, and then right afterwards, somebody from there, they must have just gotten it also, said, this is just a test. But also, so when I did the fire drill, literally even though it was a test, police showed up, everybody showed up, fire trucks, whatever, everybody's supposed to show up, shows up. And so, even though they know it's a test. And so, anyway, it makes me, I don't know if it makes me feel safer, but it does make me feel that things happen quicker. And the ability to actually converse with the people who are on their way is, obviously you don't get that from calling 911. You call 911, you hang up, you just wait for them to show up, right? And here, we're texting back and forth. People that are in the ambulance on the way here, right? Other people in the building response team are able to text as well. I can send pictures and throw it in the text so that the police see. If I see a suspect or something and I'm able to get a picture of them, I can throw it right in the chat. And then the other thing is, for paperwork purposes, everything that happens in this app, then literally I just press a button, it makes a PDF, literally an entire report of the alert was made, this is the type of alert, it was made by David Newman, it was made at this time, this officer reported, which is another thing. When a situation comes, I have to ask officers for their shield numbers and all that stuff. All that stuff is now automatically embedded in the report. I don't have to do those sort of things paperwork-wise. And I have a report that I literally just hit PDF on my app, it sends me an email, and then I can send it to the ZOE or whatever proper, so it streamlines that as well. So far, so good. I think it's a great thing. It's so far, as I said, we've tested a couple times. People came very quickly. I also noticed, even though it was only a drill, I noticed more people came, and maybe also, because it's a big citywide initiative, higher up people came. I had a lot of supervisor, police officers and whatnot that showed up as well. But yeah, so we are It's not, you know, it's a pilot right now, but it is going to phase into full implementation. I don't know if that means that they're going to have every school have it in the DOE. I don't know. There, as we talked about, there's only 5-6 schools involved, so it's very small. It's not something that the media is going to roll out in the media, but you might hear about it sometime soon, and they might be talking about how, you know, we were a pilot school for it. So there's surely on my end, there's no negative aspect to it whatsoever. I think eventually there'll be like an app that you can download the app also, and then you could just get alerts if something happens, right? I think that's part of it as well. And communication in real emergencies, I mean, it's paramount, right? It's also very difficult. Like when crazy things are happening all around you, you know, it might not be that I can get you information as fast as I like to off my phone if, you know, something crazy is going on, right? And so, so the availability to have that communication link, I think, is coming next, you know, when we get out of pilot. But right now, as I said, only the BRT and myself have the app on the phone, not even the whole community whatsoever, even viewable. Anyway, so I think it's a great thing. I'll let you know as things progress with it, and if it is something that we will fully implement from, you know, going forward. But surely for this year and next year, we're in the pilot. And then we'll see what happens with it. So hopefully the company stays around because it's a pretty cool thing. So, all right. So okay. Oh, I killed some time. Oh.
Thank you. So it was a very close race, but the nominees, Gitu and Angie, won their contest. So much to give to this school. So again, I really want to repeat what I said. Please come and help in any way that you can, because anyone's help is always welcome and needed. So, and can I just say, that gala, I want to go next year.
Yeah, it was fun. It's going to be
I
even
mean,
bigger and better.
marketing.
These guys. These two right here. We had less than 3 months. Yep. 2 months to put that together. Way to go. That was a big, you pulled
So
out.
since we're doing thank yous, we do have to thank the election committee, which was Hamilton, Ellen, Lisa, Jeff, Valentina is there too, Susie and Patricia. Thank you, everybody. So she did phenomenal work. And are you leaving us this year? Oh, that's really good. Yes. We have her going forward. And the video will be on our YouTube channel and our Facebook, and we'll put it out every place else. Thank you guys for doing it. Thank you guys.
Our best friend, Karen.
I just need, congratulations everyone for running, for winning, for contributing to the school. Thank you all for coming, for voting, that's awesome too. And I also need Angie and you two up on here to fill out your name and email and stuff, if you don't mind. Thank you.
It's a requirement.
It's a legal requirement, so you just kind of.
We need your social. I think we need your social. I would put in the plea that even if you didn't win, if you ran and did not win tonight, there are so many jobs to be done. I did not start as the vice president of communications. I was like a lady who came to a couple meetings and noticed that there needed to be some things done. And I said, hey, can I step in and do those things? And that's what I did. So that's how I got, roped into being your vice president of communications. And I send you the tech talk and spam you every week. Yeah. But, there's a million jobs. I mean, there really are. I mean, like as Leslie and Tiffany will tell you, like they weren't fundraisers, but yet they pulled off this amazing thing. There's enough work for everyone to do.
Yes.
So step up, and if you see a hole, say I can fill it. Because there's a lot to be done. I'm moving on to another PA. My daughter's graduating, so. I'm already elected to another position.
Hi, I'm Ellen. One final announcement. The next meeting, which I believe will be June 15th.
Yes.
Yeah, June 15th will be a sort of year-end financial review, which I know is really exciting. But then there'll also be a preview of next year's budget, which for all of you who are still going to have kids in school is really important. We really tried to work hard on it this year and make it reflective of everyone's priorities for the coming year. And there will be a vote on next year's budget. So, hey, that's exciting. So hope to see all of you here voting on budget.
Okay, just once again, congratulations to our winners this evening. You got a great award. I was incredibly impressed with everyone who came up to this podium this evening. Incredible. There's so many opportunities, as both Marzena and Lisa were saying, to get involved. You know, I was junior rep last year and thought I was going to be senior rep this year and work on prom. That's not all that happened exactly. Lincoln had another plan in mind for me. So it is an extraordinary school. It's an extraordinary legacy. It's an extraordinary honor to be part of the PA and the SLT. And you know, I just wanted to, and the volunteers. I want to give a huge shout out to our volunteers who've been here with us, and especially Lisa for doing, I think, 2 or 3 all-nighters this week. With me sort of bringing up the, on my cane, I'm probably in the rear. So, any new business? Going once, going twice. Okay, it was great to see you all tonight. Thanks for coming out. Again, our next meeting will be June 15th at 6 p.m. And may I have a motion to adjourn? Motion. And a second. All right. Good night, everybody. Good night.
We want the money to go.